You're listening to KVRX HD3 Austin, streaming at koop.org. Radio for people, not for profit. This is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. I'm Mike Wheat, and each week on our show, we go beyond the stacks, get to know the people and the programs that make the library a hub of learning, technology, and inspiration for our community. Once again, thanks to the kind folks of Writing on the Air for telling their listeners about our show. As I mentioned, today we are going to have a conversation once again with Diana Miranda-Murillo about how you can learn a new language with the Austin Public Library. And then a little later on in the show, we're going to have special guests Steve Siwinski from the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, as well as Dale Kittendorf, media selector for APL, to talk about an event that we have planned for you this week. So welcome back, Diana.
Thank you.
So last time you were here, we spoke about your Voices Around the World display and the importance of providing community resources in Spanish.
Yes.
And today we will continue our chat about language learning opportunities here at the Austin Public Library. To start us off, please tell us a little bit about your experience with learning languages. I hear you speak at least more than one.
I try. Well, I think the learning languages experience is very... it could be very diverse. You know, my personal experience was I didn't have a very good English teacher, as you can probably hear.
You sound great to me. Better than my Spanish teacher.
And then I developed this phobia to English. And then I decided then to study French, and I decided to study Italian because I thought I would never be able to speak English because I was so afraid of this teacher. She had a good technique. It was just that she was really like perfectionist.
So you're like, if I don't make it in America, I could still go to France or Italy.
So I decided to learn other languages to compensate. And then is when I moved here 15 years ago that I started speaking English. I didn't speak any before. So what I did, you study reading and a little bit of writing, but not the listening and the speaking part, which are, of course, the fundamental parts of communication. Well, so that it has been a very long process. And sometimes difficult for those that are planning to learn a language. The advice I can give is don't be too hard on you and enjoy the process, because if you don't, is when you're gonna get a little stuck with the language. Because if you don't start laughing about the mistakes you make is when the process starts stopping.
I say have confidence in the fact that you're at least giving it an effort.
Exactly.
Why would you be embarrassed that you're trying to speak another language?
And people, you'll be surprised how people are going to be grateful of, that effort. And, another beautiful thing about learning a language is that you're not just learning the, grammar and all that, but you're learning about these other parts of the world that are speaking those languages.
Culture.
Exactly, which is amazing because it opens up all this new windows, in your mind.
You get to sound really cool at restaurants. Like know something. Yeah,
that too. But that's kind of like my experience with languages.
Yeah. So you said you speak, obviously Spanish is your first language.
My first language.
And then you went into Italian and French. So English was your fourth language?
Basically, yeah. The problem with French is that I studied French for 7 years, but then I never got to use it. Then I thought, Italian will be the next option. So I studied Italian for 4 years, and then I started getting confused every time I was trying to speak a little bit of French. All the Italian is the one that was coming out. So the problem with this, and that's something that we're going to talk about a little later, is that if you don't use it, you lose it. Basically, that's how cruel this is.
I'm an example of that.
So we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah. What really inspired your passion for learning languages?
I really love other cultures and learning and understanding, more than just learning about the basics of a culture. I like understanding other, points of view. And for that, I thought, translation it's like we talked about before, it's an art, and it's a hard one to,
Especially for a person-to-person interaction.
Exactly. So really when you're reading, it's a little difficult. But then when you talk, it's different. You can ask all these questions and clarify things. And then in that process, you learn so much about others. And that's something I really love.
And clear up misconceptions.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And it's really fun.
Awesome. Well, we're going to continue our conversation with Diana about learning languages at the library. But first, 3 of our favorite librarians are going to tell us all about some of the great groups, community programs happening all over Austin.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I am a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. Thursday, March 9th, the Windsor Park Branch Library, in conjunction with the Austin Public Library Friends Foundation, will host a writing workshop focusing on place and regional identity. Teaching artist David Schaefer will lead the workshop, exploring voice, style, form, and the notions of self, place, memory, and time. The writing workshop is from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., Thursday, March 9th, at the Windsor Park Branch Library. Saturday, March 11th, the Falk Central Library will host Art and Feminism, a Wikipedia edit-a-thon. A 2011 survey found that fewer than 13% of Wikipedia contributors are women, and entries about women are underrepresented throughout Wikipedia. The edit-a-thon provides an opportunity for folks to create Wikipedia content in community. The Art and Feminism edit-a-thon is at the Falk Central Library, Saturday, March 11th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
This is Kathleen Houlihan, the teen librarian at the Falk Central Library downtown, bringing you all the teen and tween events happening across the Austin Public Library system for the upcoming week. Thursday, March 9th at 7 p.m., the Yarborough Branch Teen Book Club will be discussing The Ruins of Gorlin by John Flanagan, the first book in the Ranger's Apprentice series about a teen who is rejected by battle school and goes on to become a reluctant apprentice to a mysterious ranger and winds up protecting the kingdom from danger. On Saturday, March 11th from 1 to 2:30 p.m., teens can learn to express themselves through media and technology at the Ruiz Branch. And starting at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 16th, the Twin Oaks Branch will host free play video gaming. And finally, the Spicewood Springs Branch will host their teen book club on Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo on Thursday, March 16th at 6:30 p.m. This is a story about 6 outcasts on an impossible heist that might save the world if they don't kill each other first. More library programs and details are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Ann Minner, Youth Services Manager and Children's Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to tell you about the Austin Public Library events happening for children this week. Building with Blocks promotes motor skills, hand-eye coordination, spatial skills, creative divergent thinking, and fun. And working together promotes social skills, language skills, and peer mentoring opportunities. We have rolled all of this learning and fun into one program with our Lego Labs. At our labs, participants can build anything they can imagine and tell any story they can dream up. Hear, see, and create different stories, all while building with Legos provided by the library. Legos will be out for play Thursday, March 9th at the Yarborough Branch at 3:30 p.m., Friday, March 10th at the Hampton Branch at Oak Hill at 3:30 p.m., Monday, March 13th at the Ruiz Branch at 5:30 p.m., and Tuesday, March 14th at the Twin Oaks Branch at 3:30 p.m., the Windsor Park Branch at 4 p.m., and the Little Walnut Branch at 4:30 p.m. Details about Lego Lab free play and other youth events are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
Austin Book Arts Center is a new nonprofit teaching book arts to promote literacy. Our classes include bookbinding, letterpress printing, calligraphy, book repair, and decorative papermaking. More info at atxbookarts.org.
Co-op would like to thank the following businesses that have joined as members during the drive.
Kent Anschutz Attorney, KentAnschutz.com.
Fable Records, offering Austin-bred jazz, rock, and funk. FableRecords.biz.
Tierra Nera Acupuncture and Herbal Medicine, PLLC, 512-593-1256.
Slab Barbecue and Beer, 9012 Research Boulevard, dopebbq.com.
Bullock State History Museum, thestoryoftexas.com.
Breakaway Records, all vinyl store, 211 West North Loop, breakawayrex.com.
North Loop Signs, providing signs and graphics to Austin, northloopsigns.com.
B&B Rolfing Austin, bnbrolfingaustin.com, 512-328-4424.
Austin String Band Festival, October 2017.
Save Our Springs Alliance, Austin's water watchdog since 1992. SOSalliance.org.
LOC Structural Engineering. Terry at locstructural.com.
Real Ale Brewing in Blanco, Texas. RealAleBrewing.com.
Austin Flower Company. AustinFlowers.com.
Louis Carnegie, a multidisciplined design studio and gallery. LouisCarnegie.com.
Cornucopia. Peace, love, and popcorn. Cornucopiapopcorn.com.
Switched On Music Electronics. New and used equipment and repair service. SwitchedOnAustin.com.
South by Southwest Festival 2017, March 13th through 19th, southbysouthwest.com.
Master Pancake Theater, enhancing Hollywood's best and worst films. Drafthouse.com.
Lori Jo Hansel, attorney.
All right, welcome back to Volumes. We're back here with Diana Miranda, and she's going to tell us more about how the library can kickstart your language learning journey. So can you tell us about some of the resources available at the library for studying a new language?
Yes, of course. We have a lot of different resources, and the reason for that variety of resources that we offer is because we know that people learn languages in different ways. For example, my French teacher always said, if you are here in this class, forget your Spanish, you are in this French class and you're thinking in French, you don't translate in your mind because you're wasting time in the process of translation. But other professors or other people just prefer that process of translation. They get really good at it and they, don't think about it. At some point, they get really fast. So just different ways. Some people love to learn in a classroom with a teacher, and that's the best, more effective way for them to learn. Some people do well with virtual class. Some people do well just by listening to songs and reading. I mean, there are so many different ways to learn or get exposed to a language. And I think that's the beauty of the library, because we have a little bit for everybody, I think. One of the newer resources that we have is a database. It's called Pronunciator, and you can access that from home, remotely, anytime. During the day, if you're not sleeping in the middle of the night, if you want to do something fun and different, you can just go to Pronunciator. We have...
That's good advice from me.
Or, anytime you have a little, free time during the day, you can just get to it, and you don't need to come to the library.
Just wear it in your headphones while you're doing your chores.
Exactly. And Pronunciator is wonderful. It has 80 languages that you can learn.
I didn't know there were 80 languages to learn.
And for all of those interested in learning English, Pronunciator also has an option to learn English, but it's called ESL, English as Second Language, for people that speak 50 different languages. So instead of me trying to learn English in English, I could learn it from Spanish. But if somebody else is trying, that is in China and is trying to learn English, they can do it from Chinese or Italian to English, French to English. I mean, all these different languages too. So different levels, lessons for beginners, intermediate, and advanced study students.
So there are materials available for all ages?
That is just Pronunciator. All these levels.
That's just within Pronunciator.
Yes,
okay.
This is one database. So, I mean, there are courses for kids and teens too. So you can, if you have your kids that you want them to get exposed to another language, you can do that too. I mean, this is just a wonderful resource. You can watch movies with subtitles there, listening to music with the lyrics.
Because again, people learn differently.
Exactly.
You hear a lot of the pop artists who have come from other countries who spoke in different languages than English. That's how they learned, was listening to the American pop music. And
Yes, and that, you can see this. This is just Pronunciator, and this is a wonderful, wonderful resource, especially because you can access it remotely.
So I remind everybody that's just one thing.
Just one thing, and it has many, many different options there. We also have, of course, the other digital services. One of those is called One Click Digital, and you can get Pimsleur audiobooks, e-audiobooks there too.
Ooh.
To learn, which Pimsleur is a well-known,
That's fancy.
Exactly, brand, and very wonderful. I think it is one of the best ones out there. Then there's the librarians at the Austin Public Library put together something that's called the Language Learning Information Guide. And it is a wonderful resource. It has a compilation of different things to help people learn for free. So we have, for example, a list of websites that they can go to learn languages, links to different translators, online translators. They explain how to find books in the catalog just to learn languages. And we also have in Overdrive, which is our ebook provider, we also have foreign language learning materials through them, ebooks and audiobooks. And through Hoopla, which is another service we offer, we have ebooks too. For those that want to just use the e-format,
right,
the electronic format.
Maybe you could listen to it while you're reading it yourself.
Or you can just, use it as like a textbook, basically, too. I mean, there are so many different options there. And, of course, we have the more traditional ones that are CDs and DVDs for adults and children, too.
Yeah, so you can fully submerge yourself into all the different ways of learning.
Exactly. There are so many options there.
Let's see. What are your tips though? Once you've learned languages, or you're in the middle of learning it, what are some of your tips on maintaining the language?
Well, we also have something at the library that can help those that want to maintain the language. First, we have some conversation groups. One of those, for those that are learning Spanish, we have Practiquemos Español. And that's a conversation group that I started a long time ago. And then I moved to another department, and that was my baby. Oh. I had to leave that, and I was very sad. But I'm glad that now it's not just at the Central Library, but at other libraries as well. And so people get together and they just talk. There's no, tests. Nobody's judging you, and
like most babies, you bring them up well, and then they go out into the world and flourish.
Exactly.
So you did a good job.
That's a good one. And we have another one that's called Que Me Cuentas, and that is for more advanced Spanish students. We recommend that they have about 40% fluency because it's more like for reading and discussion, but it's a little bit more advanced than Practiquemos.
You got to have somewhere else to go once you finish the other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have a little bit of continuity there for those. And then finally, for those that are learning English, we also have what's called Talk Time. So in different libraries and throughout the library system, we have these conversation groups too. No need to sign up. Everything's, as in everything in the library, everything is free. You can just show up and start talking and just making friends, from all around the world, because that's what usually we get in Talk Time.
Yeah, and as the city keeps growing, as it's definitely doing exponentially, we're getting a more and more influx of different language populations at our various locations.
And everybody's welcome.
I know that there's a lot of Mandarin being spoken over at Old Quarry.
Yes.
And then Vietnamese and other Asian languages over at Little Walnut.
Yeah. So everybody's welcome. And of course, reading and listening. We have our World Languages collection with books in many different languages at the Central Library. And also world music for those interested in listening to music from around the world.
Awesome. Well, that's all wonderful news, wonderful resources. Thank you again for joining us today, Diana. And additional details can be found online at library.austintexas.org. libguides.com/language learning. Excuse me again. I'd like to take a couple of minutes just to talk about an amazing campaign that's happening at the Austin Public Library and all over the world. It's called Art Plus Feminism. Essentially, Wikipedia Edit-a-thon is what we're calling it. It's happening, Saturday, March 11th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Folk Central Library. There will be coffee and snacks, but it's essentially something to try and encourage women to take part in the editing and input of information on Wikipedia. There's a statistic here that only less than 13% of its contributors are female. You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show.
On Co-op 91.7 FM, Hornsby, Austin, radio for people, not for profit.
Looking for fun and entertainment during South by Southwest but don't have a badge or wristband? Austin's two community radio stations, Co-op and KAZI, are joining together to present Community Fest at Kenny Durham's backyard on Friday, March 17th and Saturday, March 18th. This event is open to the public and features 2 days of music, performances, food, and fun for the whole family. Community Fest starts at noon each day and ends at midnight. Community Fest is presented by Co-op and KAZI, bringing unity to the community. More information can be found at coop.org.
All right, we're back to Volumes on Co-op Radio. And right now we are joined by our special guest, Steve Siwinski from Texas State Library and Archives Commission. Hey, Steve.
Well, hey there, Mike.
And we have Dale Kittendorf, Media Selector for Austin Public Library.
Hello.
And they are here because we have something we want to tell you about coming up Friday. Why don't you tell us a little bit, Steve?
Heck yeah. We'd like folks to kick off their South by Southwest celebrations with books, beats, and libations at Flat Track Coffee, 1619 E. Cesar Chavez Street, and join the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, the Texas Library Association, and Austin Public Library for Wax from the Stacks, a soulful celebration featuring vintage vinyl and other tunes spun from the archival collections of APL.
That's right. And we had a blast. The three of us met over at the Carver Branch, dug through records, and I mean, it definitely took me back in time. It was a lot of fun just touching that old stuff, seeing those original labels.
Definitely. I think the cutoff is around 85 or 86 for some of those things, so it's pretty...
We might be able to fill a couple hours with 80-something albums.
Oh, I meant 80s as in the year. I think.
Well, because the total 80. That you're allowed to check out is pretty high as well.
Yeah, you can check out 50 albums at a time, so you can definitely be spinning some tunes for a couple hours there.
Yeah, I left there getting a workout. It was I kind of realized why the invention of CDs came about, carrying all those albums out. But once you get home and you slap it on a turntable, that's where the question comes back. Why did we do this? Why did we go away from this format?
Right. Yeah,
that real rich sound. Even the pops. There's that nostalgia when you're listening to vinyl.
It's a temperature. It feels warm, and you feel like you're sucked right into that record and taken back to that original recording.
Yeah, absolutely. That is done at the moment that you're listening to grooves that were made at the moment those musicians sat in that room. Creating this stuff. It's not compressed down and sent through the internet. I mean, I'm not trying to bash the online music because
right, the clean sound of CD. It's
exactly.
Nice. It's got its perks, but
or the easiness of downloading and streaming music because we offer that as well.
Right. That's absolutely the CD is our biggest format that we currently support at the library. And we do have some streaming. Hoopla was mentioned earlier. That's a good source for new music if you're looking to stream some stuff. But it's fun just going through these old records and kind of seeing what you can find.
What did you find today, Dale?
Oh, there's some James Brown in there, which I was pretty excited about.
Yep. Get down.
And the Commodores eluded us the other day, but I found it. So there's some the Brick House.
I don't know how we missed any of that. I mean, we didn't rush.
Yeah. So there's definitely a big collection. I'm not even sure what the number is, but there's definitely some crate digging type stuff that you can.
We could afford to do a couple of these events, I think.
For sure.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. What do you think? So I know that I grabbed Herbie Hancock that I've never even experienced before. I finally got to check that out today, and it was a different Herbie Hancock than I remember. I didn't look at the year, but I think it came around the 80s.
Yeah, I think it was late 80s too. Like, I mean, because you could get like the Future Shock stuff is pretty good, but this was a little different. Not quite what I expected from Herbie Hancock either.
Some things don't stand the test of time. But, as I left it on and I continued working, it grew on me a little bit. And some of the songs got a little better. But it was fun in the other way that we both felt like it reminded us of 1980s theme, like sitcom shows.
Totally.
Was there a laugh track on there?
Just ours. But it's still fun, very danceable. We're going to have tons of stuff to dance to. And it's like Steven said, it's going to be out at Flat Track Coffee. Those guys make amazing coffee.
Yeah, we're going to actually have some libations from our friends at Independence Brewing to enjoy some drinks from them. And also Buddha's Brew Kombucha is going to be sending some kombucha over. So you can
heal your gut.
Exactly. You can imbibe in any way that you like. Have those dancing shoes on and get down with us and celebrate the awesome resources that public libraries provide for Austin.
Yeah, I bet half of you didn't even know these records existed.
This was the best kept secret in town until this show started.
I was conflicted about this announcement and this event because I just discovered them myself, and now I'm going to have to be fighting hordes of people from selecting all these albums over at Carver.
Imagine, if you will, 3 adult males in a candy store, and that's what it looked like at the Carver branch. We were just these huge smiles on our faces, and we hope that they make you smile as well when you come check this out.
Yeah, it's real important to keep an open mind with music. I don't know a lot of what we've grabbed, but I'm enjoying every minute of discovering this stuff. It's crazy that, give away my age at 39 years, and as much as I love music, I can continue to learn stuff that has already existed, not just the new music that's coming. And so often I feel like we move forward in society to the newest best thing. We forget all this great work that's left behind.
Yeah, there are some spoken word albums in there too that I'd love to dive into, and those are great for DJs. Love to throw a little instrumental
samples,
sample that stuff. So there's definitely some hours to spend at the Carver branch looking at some vinyl.
So we don't need a library card to attend this event.
But if you don't have your library card, the Sin Fronteras bike will be there, so you can sign up.
Unbound. Our bike will be on hand giving out library cards. And let's see, guys. What else do we want to say about this thing? Did we say the time? March 10th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Flat Track Coffee is at 1619 East Cesar Chavez. And aside from the R&B and there's jazz, I think you just said spoken word.
Yeah, soul. Funk.
Some funk in there.
Yeah,
but we're also going to grab some CDs from our collection as well from various branches just to show the various types of formats.
Little breadth. But yeah, trying to stay on that funk, soul kind of vein, but maybe some local artists on CD and mixing it all in. Mm-hmm. Should be a good time.
Yeah, definitely a reason to cut a rug. I've been known to cut a rug or two. I can't wait to get down. So awesome, guys. That's really going to be a lot of fun. Thanks to Diana and Steve for joining us today. And Dale, I'll see you at work tomorrow.
All right.
Next week, we'll have Cesar Garza on the show to talk about the Austin Public Library's social media ambassadors. And additional information about the Austin Public Library can be found at library.austintexas.gov.
Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Details at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
Want to give a special thanks to our audio engineer, DJ Harris, and our volunteer production assistant, Sev Corson.
And thanks to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song. Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and APL's very own Mike Wheat on percussion.
Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on KOOP.org Community Radio.